Okay. Errol Spence is now 21-0. Is he 21-0 with 18 KOs after stopping Leonard Bundu, who's never been stopped before. We have to point out the fact that he is 41 years old, going on 42 in November, if I'm correct. PBC on NBC. It was a 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time card, and Errol Spence stopped Leonard Bundu in the 6th round. There was a knockdown that took place in the same round that for some reason a referee didn't count. But then shortly after, Leonard Bundu, Errol Spence knocked him out like cold. You know, what was it, a right hook, if I'm correct? We're going to listen to the post-fight interview. We're going to talk about where Errol Spence goes next. I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. If you want to see highlights for the fight, then go to my description box, and you'll see my link to my Instagram.
Errol, the Truth, Spence Jr.
So Errol Spence Jr., the reigning undefeated trainer, Derek James, a former pro. Errol is with our Dave Briggs. Dave.
Thank you, Kenny. Errol, congratulations. You said you didn't come here to win. You came here to put on a spectacular one-sided performance. Is this what you had in mind?
Yes, sir. I was going for the knockout. Fighting on ABC, final time, and I want to put on a great performance in front of these beautiful fans.
It was a match where he came out strong, tried to make that opening statement. Did you sense that the tide was turning in that 5th and into the 6th?
Definitely. He's awkward. He's very awkward, and it came out switching, and it took me a little bit of time to get together, but when I got together, started using my jab and started filling them out, I was able to break them down and knock them out.
You made the motion after the win. You want a shot at that title. What's your message for Kell Brook, the current title holder?
Come on. But, you know, his manager said that I didn't want to fight him, so come on. He can drop out of the Triple G fight and fight me right now.
What about the Triple G fight?
Over your right shoulder is your dad. He brought you to a gym when you were 12. You hated it in Texas. He made you stick with it. What's your message for Dad for making you stick with it?
I'd like to thank him and tell him I'm bringing the world title on him.
All right, so let's talk about that world title. When do you want a shot at Kell Brook or whomever that challenger may be?
I want to shout out Kell Brook as soon as he's done with Triple G. You know, if he's not going to fight me, then he needs to vacate and I fight somebody else. But I definitely want that IBF title shot this year.
All right, let's take a look at the video in the 6th round when this thing turned. Describe your 2 knockdowns and what happened.
I seen he was hurt. I seen he was hurt the first time when he dropped his mouthpiece. And then when I hit him again, I seen he was wobbling and the eyes kind of rolled the back of his head. And that's when I jumped on him and went for the kill.
And here you get another shot, and it was good night. Talk about that.
He hit the shit out of Leonard
That's what
Bundu.
you want. That's what I look for. You know, my slogan is man.
And Leonard Bundu has never been stopped
that's what
before.
I try to do every time I come to the ring.
This has been a unique venue and a very partisan
All right,
crowd.
they're not answering anything important. Remember, he knocked out Chris Algieri brutally. Manny Pacquiao wasn't able to knock out Chris Algieri. Ruslav Volnikov wasn't able to knock out Chris Algieri. And Amir Khan was not able to knock out Chris Algieri. He knocked out Leonard Bundu, who Keith Thurman couldn't knock out. You know, and say what you want about it. I see the path that, you know, it's clear the path that he's been on. He's been on the IBF path for a while. People have been saying that Keith Thurman is ducking him and all kind of shit like that. No, because for one, that was something that Floyd Mayweather started. And this guy, thank you, Al Heyman, doesn't want Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman right now. And he's the one who matters. He's got to get Errol Spence his title. And what's going to happen is Kell Brook, if he loses to Gennady Golovkin, he's still going to be the IBF champion at 147 pounds. But here's what Kell Brook can do. Kell Brook can avoid Errol Spence by fighting a Danny Garcia or Andre Berta, whoever wins that fight, or fighting a Keith Thurman or a David Evernessians, who wins that fight, or fighting a Jesse Vargas or a Manny Pacquiao, whoever wins that fight. Because according to the sanctioning body's rules, whether it's the WBC, WBO, IBF, or the WBA, what is going on? Getting the facts. I think. What's Sunday? A unification comes before mandatory. So Kell Brook can say, well, you know, I won't fight my mandatory, but I want to unify the belts. Now, that'd be a good situation for Errol Spence, because if Kell Brook does decide to fight him, then, you know, he will fight him for multiple belts. But I feel that Kell Brook will not fight him. I feel that Kell Brook can't make 147 pounds comfortably anymore. But if it's a big money fight like a Danny Garcia or Keith Thurman or Jesse Vargas or Manny Pacquiao, he'll make that 147. But I don't think he'll make that 147, you know, for Errol Spence. So what I think is going to happen is he'll drop the belt, you know, and say, you know, I'm going to be fighting at 154 pounds. And Errol Spence and Konstantin Penomarev, who is a top ring fighter, who is very good, is likely going to be fighting Errol Spence for that vacated belt sometime, I guess maybe March of 2017 or so. He's saying he won it at the end of the year, but I don't think that's going to. It could happen. You know, the IBF could say, okay, Kell Brook, we let you fight Golovkin, you know, and you lost. Now you got 30 days to get a deal done with Errol Spence. It could happen. It could happen by December. Hold on for 1 minute, guys. It could happen, you know. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, where he goes from here. But, you know, now it's time for him to, you know, like really be mainstream. You know, he's been getting this national television access. Remember, he fought Chris Algieri on PBC on NBC. He fought Leonard Bundu on PBC on NBC, and he's performed beautifully, knocking out both of those guys on national television and building his name. Now it's time for him to, you can't say really step up the competition, because he has been stepping up the competition. It's just tough for him to start fighting more high-profile fights, you know, and how long will that take, you know, and if he doesn't get the Kell Brook title shot, you know, then what? For example, let me go look at the IBF rankings at 147 pounds real quick, because if I'm correct, there's a good chance we could see, you know, Errol Spence versus Lamont Peterson. That would be crazy, but will Lamont Peterson turn down the fight? You know, you see what I'm saying? We could see Errol Spence versus a Bradley Skeet, you know, Errol Spence versus a Sammy Vasquez, Errol Spence versus Kevin Bizier may be a fight that's pretty logical and you know, a fight that may happen. You know, and remember, when you're a mandatory, or you are fighting for a title, you know, or trying to work your way up to a title, then you fight fighters that are ranked in the top 15. And up until this defeat, Leonard Bundu is ranked number 6 in the top 15. Just above him, number 5 in the top 15. And if I'm correct, I believe I heard that somewhere that Lamont Peterson turned down the Errol Spence fight. You know, and that would be a good fight. I would love to see that. But you know, only time will tell. Only time will tell. Teach Street Controversy. This is Teach Street Controversy Live. Errol Spence stops Leonard Bundu, a fighter who had never been stopped before, and a fighter who Keith Thurman wasn't able to stop in, you know, dramatic fashion. August the 21st, 2016. I got one more video to do today. The Heather Hardy fight. Then I'm going to watch some SmackDown. Please subscribe. Not SmackDown, SummerSlam. Please subscribe.